Do you have too many listings in your Etsy shop? Maybe you've heard that you have to have 100 listings in your shop in order to get any traffic. Or maybe you heard that once you hit 500 listings, you'll start selling more. Every day I see Etsy sellers chasing down the wrong target or simply focusing on the wrong thing that will never move them towards their goals. So today I'm going to give it to you straight and simply with what you need to know about listing count, and I'll give you 3 things that you should prioritize above listing count in order to have success on Etsy. So right now I'm going to share with you some stats, how many listings they have and how much money they make. Candace, she actually was doing over $20,000 a month with less than 30 listings. Anastasia, one of my students who I had the pleasure of meeting at our meetup in Las Vegas, she does over $75,000 a month and she has 312 listings. Now these are mostly handmade and sourced by a seller. Also supplies. Tracy, she has done actually this past month $125,000 in a single month with 177 listings. And she also does print on demand focused on one product type that most of you would never guess. Eric is another one of my students who I've interviewed on my YouTube channel, and he shared that he did $438,000 in his first full complete year on Etsy, and that was with less than 100 listings at that time. Now moving into digital, we have Annalise, who I also interviewed on our channel, and she scaled up to $25,000 a month with less than 80 listings of digital products, and now she is on track to do $500,000 this year with 128 listings, and these are all digital products. And after working with 3,500 sellers, I will tell you that listing count does not matter at all as much as having quality listings. And I've heard thousands of sellers who've come to me and said, my shop's not working. And sometimes they have hundreds of listings. And what we find is the product mix, it's typically not targeting profitable customers. The SEO is typically not optimized. The listings are not optimized for mobile or desktop. They are not optimized for Pinterest. They're completely missing site merchandising, which focuses on driving up the AOV and the LTV, the average order value, and the lifetime value of the customer. And they're built to be low converting. And yet, oftentimes these sellers think, I just need more listings. And so my question to you is what you're currently doing working? And if you keep doing more of what's not working, will that make it start working? When we put it like this, we all know the answer. No. If you create 1,000 more listings in that way, you will have the exact same results. My plea here is stop cranking out listings right now and fix what you have. It's not only wasting your time, but it's actually hurting the future of your shop. And it's going to make success even harder in the future because of your quality score. Now, we've talked about quality scores a little bit on this channel, but the quality score is basically how Etsy views your shop. When you are a new shop, Etsy shares that you start with a neutral quality score, and you are competing against other shops that have other quality scores. Some of their quality scores are good, right? Etsy sees positive ROI by placing them higher in search. Other shops you're competing against are older shops that have no sales, and those shops have negative quality scores. Etsy has deemed their performance as being very low, and they don't want to give that shop's listings prime real estate because historically that shop's listings, they don't do well. What happens is if you keep cranking out listings over time, instead of having a few listings that don't perform, now you have a ton of listings that don't perform, and your conversion rate just tanks, which ends up tanking your quality score. This basically means that Etsy sees your shop as not ideal to show to customers. So as days pass of your new listings, not targeting the right customers, not seeing a strong click-through rate, and not converting any of the traffic that they get, they see that listing as undesirable. And if your shop becomes filled with undesirable listings, then Etsy gives your shop a negative quality score. And then any new listing that you come out, even if it's a good listing, it will automatically rank lower than that same exact listing would rank in a new shop that had a neutral quality score. So essentially, you are at an immediate disadvantage with new listings that you put out. So listing count Stop focusing on it. Make sure that any listing taking up real estate in your Etsy shop is paying its rent, and it's paying its rent with traffic, favorites, and sales. If it's not paying its rent, you need to either change it or kick it out. I'm going to give you 3 things to prioritize that are more important than focusing on listing count. Number 1, customer-centric SEO that targets profitable customers instead of product-centric SEO that describes the product itself. This is all about getting your product in front of people who have strong buying intentions, because that's going to give your listing a higher conversion rate. Yes, SEO and conversion rate are very connected, because if you don't have the right SEO to get in front of the right customers, you're going to get in front of people who have no intention of buying your thing to begin with. So that traffic is going to be lower quality traffic. SEO is responsible for getting you the highest quality traffic of people with buying intentions. That's why we create customer-centric SEO. That leads to a stronger conversion rate on that listing, which leads to higher ranking overall and an improvement of your shop's quality score. All right, the second important thing that you should focus on instead of listing count is product market fit. So having the customer first, product second approach, it doesn't mean you will be successful if you are not aligning the customer with the product. So you need some tangible proof that this customer is actually attracted to both your product, your design, your concept, but also the thumbnail images that you're choosing to use. Now, social media strategies are the fastest way, hands down, to establish product market fit. And there is no excuse for not establishing product market fit when you can do this with just a little bit of manual effort. And remember, success loves speed, right? You have to make quick decisions when you're starting a business. You have to make quick decisions when you're trying to build momentum. We can't sit back and wait for people to come and maybe find us. And if you don't have paying customers, then social media is the way to get this feedback quickly. So use social media aggressively to establish quickly if there's product market fit, both with your design, your concept, and with your thumbnail or your packaging of it. Both of these things need product market fit in order to win in search results. And the third thing we prioritize above listing count is giving these listings different purposes. And we do that through the 7 types of products framework. It's much better to completely fill out these 7 types of products versus having 1,000 listings of one of these types of products. The 7 types of products framework, it's really about having different listings that have different purposes. And I'm not talking about a t-shirt and a mug and a hat. Those are not the different product types. We're actually assigning certain listings as having the purpose of scaling our order number under the shop name. Our purpose on those is to get 20 orders per listing per day. We call those loss leaders. And the whole idea, it's not to make a huge profit on loss leaders. We're not going to lose money, but loss leaders increase the order velocity, which will elevate the ranking of your other listings. It could be a hat, it could be a mug, it could be a t-shirt. It's not product specific, but it's purpose specific. So there are 6 other types of products that we don't talk about on YouTube. Some of them, they're really meant to scale your revenue. Some are meant to scale your profit. Some are meant to increase the lifetime value of your customer. Some are meant to really drive up your average order value. So we're not having a mug shop. We're not having a t-shirt shop. We're not having a niche specific shop. And we're not just trying to get to 100 listings as quickly as possible. We are looking at the 7 types of products framework, serving our customer for at least 4 to 7 years in many areas of their life. And we're establishing product market fit before just going willy-nilly and cranking out hundreds of listings. And when we create these listings, we're using customer-centric SEO and not product-centric SEO. And that is in order to increase the conversion rate on the listings that have made the cut to stay in our shop. And what all of this does is it will accelerate your momentum. We have to prioritize all of these things in the right order and at the right time in order to really get the machine working. And that's what success on Etsy is really about. And if you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm screwed because I've been focusing on quantity over quality this entire time, reach out to us in the comments. We will put a link to schedule a free call with myself or my team, and that is a one-on-one call where we will chat with you more about your shop, and we'll also show you what one-on-one coaching looks like, as well as the financial results that we have seen come out of one-on-one coaching. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Stop creating so many listings, and I'll see you in the next one.
The month before I started the program, I made $696. The first month after joining the coaching program, I made $4,149, and that came from 133 orders in my Etsy shop.